Welcome back to Reality TV Uncovered, the channel where we go deep into the lives of stars from shows like 90 Day Fiancé. Today, we're sharing a heartbreaking story that has shocked fans around the world. Gino Palazzolo and his new girlfriend Natalie spent a joyful day together at a five-star hotel. But on their way home that night, they were in a serious car accident. Gino's condition became critical. He was rushed to the ICU, fighting for his life. Natalie was injured, but not seriously. The situation took an emotional turn when Gino's ex-wife, Denise Palazzolo, arrived at the hospital. Seeing him in such a state, she was heartbroken and sat beside him, tears in her eyes, expressing her deep sorrow. To understand the present, we need to look back. Gino's life was long tied to Jasmine Pineda from Panama. Their fiery relationship gave fans unforgettable moments on reality TV, but behind the cameras, their differences were too great. After the last season, they quietly split, exhausted by pressure, scrutiny, and their differences. Gino returned to Michigan and kept a low profile. But he was a romantic at heart and soon met someone new, Natalie, a 31-year-old graphic designer from Grand Rapids. Unlike Jasmine, she wasn't chasing fame. She offered Gino the normal, calm relationship he had been searching for. Introduced through friends, they started dating a few months ago. Their relationship stayed private, giving them a refuge from the public eye. This past Saturday, they wanted a special day together. Gino booked a room at the Grand Heritage, one of Michigan's most prestigious hotels in downtown Grand Rapids. Sources from the hotel described the couple as happy and affectionate. They checked in around 1 p.m., laughed together, and were discreet, yet clearly enjoying each other's company. At 3 p.m., they had champagne and strawberries in their room. They spent the afternoon talking, watching movies, and enjoying a normal, relaxed day far from cameras and drama. As evening came, they went to a small Italian restaurant for a romantic dinner. They were seen holding hands, sharing wine, and enjoying conversation. Leaving around 10:30 p.m., the night was calm and clear as they drove back on a scenic country road, just a few miles from their hotel. At 10:52 p.m., a Ford F-150 traveling eastbound failed to stop at a red light at the intersection of Willow Creek and Ridgeview Drive. The truck, going over 60 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone, struck the driver's side of Gino's SUV with catastrophic force. First responders described it as one of the worst crashes they had seen in months. The driver of the truck, a 22-year-old, survived but was later charged with operating under the influence and reckless driving. Gino was pinned in his vehicle, unconscious and critically injured, with massive trauma. Paramedics and firefighters worked urgently to free him while Natalie, in shock but conscious, suffered a broken arm, lacerations, and likely a concussion. She remained worried about Gino throughout the rescue. Both were taken to Spectrum Health Butterworth Hospital. Gino was immediately rushed into surgery for severe internal bleeding, a lacerated liver, multiple fractured ribs, a collapsed lung, and traumatic brain swelling. Natalie was treated for her injuries, but stayed close to the operating room, waiting anxiously with Gino's friends. The hours in the surgical waiting room were agonizing. Surgeons worked to stabilize Gino, but his condition remained critical, and his chances of survival were uncertain. As the news spread, it reached someone from Gino's past, his ex-wife Denise, who still cared deeply for him. Despite their complicated history, she rushed to the hospital, overwhelmed with emotion at seeing him in such a life-threatening state. This day, meant to be a romantic escape, turned into a battle for survival. Gino and Natalie had been enjoying the start of something new, only for fate to intervene in the most tragic way. Friends, family, and fans watched anxiously as the ICU became the center of hope and fear, waiting to see if Gino would survive the night. The accident reminded everyone how fragile life can be. One moment, a couple was enjoying normalcy and happiness. The next, everything changed in an instant. And for Denise, the ex-wife who had once shared so much of Gino's life, the experience brought back emotions she thought she had left behind. As doctors fought to save Gino, Natalie stayed by his side, showing courage and concern despite her own injuries. Friends and hospital staff described her dedication as remarkable, keeping her focus on Gino throughout the night. Meanwhile, the public watched with bated breath as social media lit up with messages of prayer and support for the couple. In the hours that followed, doctors continued their battle to stabilize Gino. Every moment in the ICU was a fight between life and death, with Natalie, Denise, and Gino's friends holding on to hope that he would pull through. This accident, unexpected and devastating, became a reminder of the unpredictability of life, the strength of human connection, and the power of love and support in the face of tragedy. Gino Palazzolo's journey from a joyful day to critical injury left everyone shaken. For Natalie, it was a night she would never forget. For Denise, it reopened old wounds and revealed the depth of care she still held for Gino. And for fans, it was a heartbreaking reminder that reality TV stars live real lives, with real dangers and real heartbreak, far beyond what cameras can show. The story continues as Gino fights for his life, surrounded by the people who care about him most, proving that even amid tragedy, love, concern, and hope can shine through. Denise Palazzolo, Gino's ex-wife, has been part of his complicated romantic history, which was briefly explored on 90 Day Fiancé. Even after their divorce, they stayed on friendly terms. Denise was a steady, supportive presence in Gino's life, offering advice during his difficult times with Jasmine. When she heard about the accident, she immediately went to the hospital. She wasn't there to create drama. She was there as a lifelong friend who had known Gino for decades and understood the man behind the reality TV persona. The meeting between Natalie, Gino's current girlfriend, and Denise could have been tense, but it was not. Instead, it was a moment of shared grief. Natalie, young, injured, and scared, was visibly relieved to have someone there who cared deeply for Gino. Denise offered comfort to Natalie, showing a pragmatic, caring side. A source in the waiting room said, "It wasn't awkward. It was sad." Denise hugged Natalie, asked how she was doing, and they cried together, united by their concern for Gino. Around 4:30 a.m., a surgeon came out of the OR, exhausted. The news was difficult. The surgery had stabilized Gino, but the damage was severe. He was on a ventilator, with brain swelling a major concern, and was moved to the neurosurgical ICU. He was in a medically induced coma to give his brain a chance to heal. The next 24 to 48 hours were critical. Seeing Gino in the ICU was shocking. The once vibrant man, full of energy and animated expressions, lay still and pale. His head was bandaged, hooked to machines, with 4 lines in his arms. The only sign of the man they knew was his strong hands resting motionless. Natalie, with her broken arm, could only stand for a moment before the emotions overwhelmed her. She had to step out supported by a nurse. Denise asked for a moment alone with Gino. What followed was a moment of raw, human emotion. Denise, usually strong and composed, broke down completely. She held Gino's hand, her shoulders shaking with sobs that soon became open weeping. A nurse later said, "You see grief in the ICU, but this was different. This was profound heartbreak." Denise whispered to him through tears, reminding him of their shared history, happy times, inside jokes, and that he was loved. She begged him to fight, telling him, "It's not your time, Gino. It's not your time." She stayed with him for a long time, her tears falling onto the sheets, showing pure human emotion without cameras or audience. By morning, news of the accident had spread. Fans and the 90 Day Fiancé community were shocked. Cast members posted messages of support on social media. Jasmine Pineda, currently in Panama, posted, "My heart is broken into 1,000 pieces hearing this news. Gino, you are a kind and beautiful soul. I am praying for you with all my strength. Please, please fight. The world needs your light." Back in Michigan, a vigil continued. Family, friends, Natalie, and Denise stayed close to the hospital. Denise had become a source of strength for Natalie, forming an unlikely bond in the midst of shared fear. Doctors remained cautious, especially about the brain injury. The coma was protective, but the extent of damage would only be known once sedation was reduced. Every small change in his vitals brought hope or fear. The man who had shared his life on TV was now fighting the most private and personal battle imaginable. This accident reminded everyone how fragile life is. A single moment, a single mistake by another driver, had changed many lives forever. It stripped away the reality TV facade and revealed the real, vulnerable human being at the center. The sight of an ex-wife comforting a new girlfriend, both worried about Gino, showed that some bonds, though changed, are never truly broken. As of now, Gino Palazzolo remains in the ICU, critical but stable, still in a coma, and fighting for his life. The entire 90-Day Fiancé community and fans worldwide are sending prayers and hope. Adding to the drama, it was revealed that Gino ruined his date with Natalie by comparing her to his ex-wife Jasmine. During a private moment, he called Natalie a lookalike of Jasmine, which humiliated her. Fans criticized Gino for being insensitive, while some cast members accused him of abandoning Natalie and failing to support her. Natalie later revealed this was the real reason she ended things with him. Meanwhile, Jasmine Pineda continues making headlines with career news even as she faces challenges, including potential deportation. The drama between Gino, Natalie, and Jasmine continues to capture viewers, mixing heartbreak, betrayal, and new beginnings. In short, Gino's tragic accident, the ICU vigil, and the ongoing interpersonal drama have combined into one intense, real-life story that goes far beyond reality TV. It's a story of love, heartbreak, loyalty, and the fragility of life, showing that even TV stars are not immune to real-world tragedies and consequences. Would you like me to continue and rewrite the follow-up on Gino and Natalie's relationship fallout and Jasmine's response in the same simplified style? Gino Palazzolo's accident sent shockwaves through everyone who knew him, from family and friends to fans around the world. The ICU became a hub of worry and emotion. Friends, family, and even casual acquaintances from the 90-Day Fiancé community kept vigil around his hospital bed, taking turns to sit with him, whisper to him, and silently hope that he would wake up. The beeping monitors, ventilator, and the bright, sterile lights of the ICU were a constant reminder of just how serious the situation was. Every small movement of his hands, every tiny change in his vital signs, felt monumental. Natalie, despite her own injuries, a broken arm, lacerations, and a likely concussion, refused to leave his side. She had spent hours holding his hand, brushing back his hair, and speaking softly to him, pleading for him to stay alive. She was shaken, but she stayed calm enough to be a presence of comfort. Denise, meanwhile, continued to offer support to Natalie, sitting with her in quiet solidarity, helping her navigate the complex emotions of fear, guilt, and helplessness. In this difficult time, the two women formed a bond that neither could have expected, united by love and concern for the same man. Meanwhile, Gino's family began arriving. His parents, siblings, and close relatives all gathered in the waiting room, sharing anxious glances, hugging one another, and trying to keep spirits up despite the grim news from the doctors. They knew the next hours and days were critical. Any decision could mean life or death. The doctors explained that his brain injury was severe and that while he had been stabilized, it would take weeks to know the full extent of the damage. The medically induced coma was meant to give his brain a chance to heal, but there were no guarantees. Social media exploded with updates. Fans of 90-Day Fiancé flooded the comment sections with prayers and messages of hope. Many shared stories of how Gino had touched their lives through the show, the laughter he brought, and the charm that made him stand out. Some fans, aware of his rocky history with exes and relationships, focused on the human side of the story, the fight for survival rather than the drama that had often surrounded him. The contrast between reality TV fame and the raw reality of the hospital room was stark. For once, no cameras, no edits, no storyline mattered, only the human life at stake. Even amidst the tragedy, tension from Gino's past relationships began to emerge. The incident reignited old dynamics with Jasmine Pineda, Gino's ex-wife. Though they had moved on, news of the accident brought out conflicting emotions. Jasmine expressed heartfelt concern on social media, sending prayers and support, but fans speculated about whether her involvement was purely concern or if old feelings were resurfacing. Meanwhile, Natalie's experience with Gino's insensitive comparison to Jasmine added another layer of complexity. The remark had deeply hurt her, humiliating her in a moment that should have been private and romantic. Now, with Gino in critical condition, Natalie's emotions were tangled between fear, anger, and lingering affection. In the ICU, Denise and Natalie took turns at Gino's bedside, whispering encouragement, recounting memories, and hoping their voices would reach him. Denise often recalled stories from their younger days, quiet moments that Gino had shared only with her. Natalie shared inside jokes from their budding relationship, trying to connect with him even while he remained unconscious. The room was quiet except for the machinery, yet filled with a tension that could almost be felt in the air. Doctors worked tirelessly. Each day brought small victories or setbacks. Sometimes his vitals stabilized, giving hope. Other times, swelling in the brain caused alarm. His family and friends learned to navigate the delicate balance between optimism and realism. They prayed together, held vigil through the night, and clung to hope while acknowledging the severity of his injuries. The accident also triggered reflection. Gino's public persona, built through reality television, was stripped away. Fans were reminded that the man they laughed with on screen, who had caused drama and entertained them, was still human. He was vulnerable, fragile, and reliant on the people who loved him. The entire ordeal highlighted how quickly life could change, and how the line between reality TV and real life could blur in the most devastating ways. As days passed, Gino remained in the coma, with his condition fluctuating. The doctors began cautiously reducing sedation to assess his neurological response. Every movement of an eye, every twitch of a finger, became a cause for celebration. Friends and family were hyper-aware of every detail, waiting for signs of consciousness. Natalie and Denise continued to alternate their time at his bedside, offering not just emotional support, but a sense of continuity and love that Gino might sense even in his unconscious state. Outside the hospital, the story gained widespread media attention. News outlets reported the accident, emphasizing the severity of his injuries, the circumstances of the crash, and the involvement of the truck driver, who had been charged with reckless driving and operating under the influence. Fans debated the responsibility of the driver, the randomness of the tragedy, and the cruelty of life. Social media became a space of support, speculation, and prayer threads, while reality TV blogs covered both the accident and the complicated personal relationships that now surrounded it. Meanwhile, tensions from Gino's past continued to surface. Jasmine and Natalie's interactions on social media, combined with fan speculation, reignited discussions about Gino's relationships. Many fans expressed sympathy for both women, recognizing the difficult position they were in. They were connected by their concern for Gino, but had very different histories and relationships with him. Denise's role as a mediator and supportive presence helped ease some of the tension, yet the complexity of emotions remained undeniable. Inside the ICU, every day became a battle of patience and hope. Nurses and doctors watched the family closely, offering updates, support, and guidance. Friends brought meals, blankets, and comfort items, and everyone focused on creating a calm, positive environment that might aid Gino's recovery. Conversations ranged from light memories to serious discussions about what might come next. Every laugh, every smile, every tear was an attempt to maintain connection and humanity amid the uncertainty. Despite the fragile situation, moments of hope emerged. A small hand movement, a slight response to voice, or a change in vital signs gave family and friends brief glimpses of possibility. It was a reminder that life, even when precarious, could persist. The ICU, usually a place of routine medical care, became a place of vigil, storytelling, shared tears, and quiet prayer. Outside, the fan community continued to monitor updates, share prayers, and send support to all involved. Cast members of 90 Day Fiancé posted messages of love and hope, reflecting the genuine affection many had for Gino beyond the cameras. Fans discussed the fragility of life, the unpredictability of tragedy, and the humanity behind the fame. In this intense period, the story of Gino Palazzolo shifted. It was no longer about reality TV drama, romantic rivalries, or social media conflicts. It became a story of survival, the importance of human connection, and the extraordinary ways people come together in moments of crisis. Denise's presence at his bedside, Natalie's unwavering support despite previous heartbreak, and the extended family's dedication all highlighted the power of love, compassion, and shared grief. Though Gino remained unconscious, the fight continued. Doctors monitored his brain closely, family and friends provided constant support, and the world waited with bated breath. His story, filled with reality TV fame, personal missteps, and relationship drama, was now defined by courage